Welcome, my Planet Coaster friends, to the first episode of Project PlanCo. Today we have not one, not two, but three amazing creations to showcase. The first three ever to be placed into the first city area of this theme park. So we have three amazing creations from two talented builders, as one of our builders has managed to finish two in this very short amount of time. Now, before we get started, I just want to give you guys a little heads up on how the project is going so far. At the time of me recording this, the project is about to go live to the public in about 11 hours. So what we ended up doing was we gave the VIP members, the moderators, and those supporters of the channel a 2-day head start to get things going on Project PlanCo so that they could have first dibs at what they wanted to sign out. And we'll definitely have more perks like this for our patrons and Team 5 YouTube join members in the future. So if you're not a patron yet, be sure to join, as we're going to have so many cool rewards just like this coming up in the future. What was also important about this was the fact that we got to beta test all of the problems that could possibly occur before this went public and the floodgates opened up. So it's been absolutely outstanding having a small handful of people join in and find poke little holes here and there in the format of how we're doing things. So we've made a lot of adjustments on the back end to our folders, our sign out sheets, this and that. Our rules have changed a lot. So thank God we had all of the early access people beta test for us so that we could have a smooth transition going into the live launch. With that said, the three creations we're featuring here today are from the VIP members, the patrons, the supporters of the show. So that is really cool. So you guys can see some shots of the three creations there. What we're going to do is a little bit of a speed build, or I guess a speed placement. And I kind of want to show you guys the assembly process so you guys can see some of the challenges that I face placing your buildings of the park. Some of the things that you'll notice is how you can maybe improve your designs a little bit to help me not only place your creations, but to better fit your creations into this PlanCo verse. After we've assembled them, we'll jump into game and take a quick look, and I'll give my thoughts on these three creations here today. Okay, kicking things off with our first building. It's the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Shop, created by AbiReifinger, a supporter of the show, and this is our little hero building number 5, and the limit piece was 600 pieces allowed for this. You can see I'm fiddling around with this little corner piece. It was flickering and also sticking into another building there, and then I've gone ahead and there was flickering floor pieces, so I've adjusted those. The signs were floating, so I adjusted those as well. We are 8 times speed, so we're going very fast. And then I take the sign of her name, I put it out front there. I don't know if this is something I'm going to be keeping in the future, but for now, we'll definitely do that. I adjusted the trees just a little bit, and boom, it's in. Next up is Fuaranna's France shop. I'm not sure the piece limit on this one. This is going way too fast for me to keep up already, so definitely having a little bit of trouble sinking this into the ground because the pathway wants to slope, but we also have to sink it in because of her instructions. But the shop doesn't actually go adjacent to the door, so it creates this very weird wiggle shape, and the path is not even big enough to fit through that doorway. So what I decided to do here is get the little I don't know what those are called, the barriers. And if I put the barriers inside the walls there, the guests won't walk through the wall. Now, this little piece here, it was sticking through the dirt. And there was also a little corner piece sticking out, so I couldn't figure out how I was going to fix that. I was wiggling things around, seeing what I could do. Ultimately, I deleted that floor piece because it actually wasn't necessary at all, and got rid of it entirely, but there's still a piece of dirt sticking out there. I ignored it for now, but then I went back and I thought, hey, what if I just paint it black and put a little bit of white in there? And that made it actually look like gray concrete, and it blended in perfectly. And here we go with building number 3. This is the second time of me doing it because you can see me fiddling around with the backside here. And basically the overhang was hanging into the street a little bit. And I realized that after I had placed everything, and I went back and redid everything. Doing things twice, you always do things faster the second time. So I'm just fixing all of our flickering floors. Guys, be mindful of your flickering floors. All you have to do is offset them by 1 pixel for that to be fixed. And then I put her sign out front and then adjusted little things there, and boom, we're done. So a really quick setup there. Let's jump into game and talk about it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PlanCo, Project PlanCo version 1.2. That is right. So we launched with 1.0. The beta testers, early access, VIPs, and moderators help us refine some things that were in the park that we didn't like, that we wanted to adjust to make things clear for the public release. And then that made me make a 1.1 version as we made some modifications to the original. And now that we have a few extra builds in here, I've gone ahead and saved this as 1.2. So let me know if you guys thought the assembly speed thing was kind of a cool thing, if you want to see that in the future videos. Me setting it up. Obviously, I think now looking back, it was a little bit too fast. I wanted to speak about what I was doing and why and some of the struggles that I was having, but these ones were pretty straightforward to set up. When I originally did 5 times speed, I thought it was too slow, so I went with 8 times speed, and now I think it's too fast. So maybe 5 times speed will be a better assembly setup, kind of a let's build in some cases, because in future episodes, like let's say when we get city building 7 in, there's a good chance I'm probably going to delete some of these side walls on Abby's building as long as they're not impeding on anything. Because yeah, if there's a building here, why even have any of these windows at all, right? I don't see a reason to not get rid of these, especially if the person builds up to this height. So if they do build up to that height, I mean, definitely can't delete anything lower than that, but that should be pretty good. If this part of the building actually sticks over top of the other building, that is fine. But if they build to the max height, we can even go ahead and delete this. Why have all these extra pieces being rendered into the game, and even these lights that are supposed to make, I guess, the windows light up at night, if none of that is going to be seen? So something for the builders to think about, but at the same time, they don't know how high their neighbor is going to be. The person coming into building City 7, or sorry, building 7, and also building 8, they are going to see their neighbor. So if they do build low, they know that they basically don't have to have any walls at all, really, at least on this left-hand side. Or I guess right-hand side of the building, I'm not sure. So these are fun little episodes for us to not only showcase to the audience, to the viewers, to get excited about what will come, what things are going to start looking like, the early stages of this project, but also for the builders to go like, oh, hey, like I didn't really think about that when I was building this, or something for me to keep in mind when I'm building mine, and how things are going to intersect and overlap. We might have a little bit of crashing, a little bit of overlapping between the buildings, but that's going to be kind of my job to come in here and adjust things as we go. This one's sticking out just a little bit, but I think that's fine because I wanted the trim to stick out. So there was a little bit of flickering and issues there, but I think I got this one positioned about right, about the way I wanted to. So there were some flickering floors in here. I just brought these floors up just a pixel, so you would no longer see that anymore. Looking really nice in here, all selling the marshmallows. Stay Puft color theme here is like a white, blue, and a bit of red, and you could see that she carried that onto the what do you call it, the trim work of the building, the blue and red, and then the white lined background. I think this is very sharp, very clean, definitely represents the Stay Puft marshmallow. Using that signage on the front, definitely when you guys are building your creations, go into the scenery, type in Stay Puft, and you'll see all these different pieces. She saw that, she put some signs, used all that, but don't forget, go into the building section and do the same thing, because some of these pieces are not actually included, and maybe Abby didn't even realize that when she was building this, because there are some extra signs, or maybe that might be the sign there, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there's some extra doodads and stuff. So if you are building she got the awning, so she's definitely aware of that there's some older signs, so you obviously don't have to use it all. There's even a neon one, but you know, they're there, you should probably use them and enjoy the process. Use all those little doodads, because we're going to be staying away from Themepark Toolkit. Originally, we didn't want to use the Stay Puft or Ghostbusters in this project because we didn't feel like Ghostbusters was an IP thing, and it's just a weird to use an IP thing, but it is a part of Planet Coaster, so we figured we would use the Marshmallow Shop, and it just so happens that Abby really wanted to use the Stay Puft on top of the marshmallows. She could have just made this generic Marshmallow Shop, but it's pretty fitting, and I'm actually kind of happy about it, because originally I was like, can we use the Stay Puft? Can we fit him in? And we were looking at his body and the pieces and how big they were, and we're like, that's way too obscure, it's going to stand out. But the way she integrated it is just like the hands and the head poking off the building, it really miniaturizes it. We get away from it. So we are still including that Ghostbuster element that technically is a part of Planet Coaster, and even some cases we have the actual Ghostbusters hanging out on the streets here. So we didn't want to forget about them, but we didn't really want to bring too much attention to them either because of the IP thing. So that's pretty cool. I'm really happy with this building. I think Abby did a wonderful job. This here, Gulpy, I saw her taking the Gulpy and I immediately jumped in there and said, hey, let's see if you can use my Gulpy in your build somehow. And my Gulpy is about 230 pieces. I built this a long time ago. She only had, I think, 600 for this building as well. So she found a way to use some of my Gulpy without eating into her part count too much. And he's kind of bursting through a wall there. I thought it was really good and I wanted something to be included there because I think if you go into like the Gulpy shapes and buildings, there isn't anything where you can actually see his face, right? It's just like signs, things like that. I guess there's this one that would have worked. So yeah, there's that. I definitely think that could be probably placed on the inside somewhere. But you also have this miniature Gulpy on the inside, which I really like. But yeah, I wanted Gulpy to be present, and we are designing characters for all of these buildings, and we will, not the building, yeah, but the buildings, the rides, the attractions and stuff. Our Gulpy character is still in the pipeline. He is not yet drawn, but we don't want to have characters plastered on each and every one of these buildings. This is called a mini hero, meaning if we have a drawing and we have a character for it, we're not going to use it here. Later on, when we get to Adventureland, Gulpy will have like his own Gulpy playpen, and his own hero piece like we have with the Chief Beef and the Foxy. All the city style characters have their own thing where their characteristics will be brought out to be a little bit more prominent. Gulpy will get his time to shine later, but I still kind of wanted to include his presence somehow, and I thought by letting her use my character, that would really help. She also really nailed the aesthetic of the building, going with, I guess, the Gulpy lime drink, rather than, there's the energy, there's the lime, or I guess it's orange. Yeah, it's an orange, I believe. Kind of weird that it's yellow. It's yellowish. Tertiary color. But then there's another one. There's like Gulpy soda, Gulpy energy, and oh, Gulpy slushy. That's right. I actually did do a Gulpy slushy a long time ago. Slush. Maybe I put it into a building. I don't know. It's probably on my workshop. But yeah, there's also a Gulpy slushy. So she went the orange route and then with the green and yellow. And I think it's really sharp. I think it's a nice, clean city building. I like this cute little attention to detail there with the green and yellow smoke. Really, really good touch there. It's simple. It's a little bit of graffiti on the backside, which is also a smart choice by Abby here. These are clipping a little bit. So if you do see flickering like this, guys, one thing to the way you would fix it, you could take this piece, separate it from the building so it's all on its own floating, and then you could just push it a pixel. All right, so we're going to separate this one from the building piece, put it on its axis by pushing the X key, and then we're just going to slide it a pixel. And now we got no flickering on the backside. So these are probably things like quality assurance. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of a quality assurance, making sure like the buildings aren't floating, hanging, doing anything weird on the city side. But because we have this graffiti here, you will see that from the bottom of the city. So I definitely think that's a nice touch. Maybe this backside would have been a good place for that Gulpy sign that I pointed out earlier. You know, maybe we could put something like that back here. So maybe we'll do some final touches like that as we go. I think that's a pretty good spot for it. That looks pretty clean. And we're always open to feedback, suggestions as we do these. And that's kind of why I'm doing these little recordings. So if you guys think that sign should stay there, leave a comment down below. Keep the sign there. Keep the sign there, Johnny. And last but not least, we have Fuaranna. She's a Missy Goods, big supporter of the show, big helper. She recently produced the zoo videos for the zoo contest on the diorama contest. So shout out to Fua for doing the diorama contest videos. Everybody seems to be enjoying them. If you haven't seen them yet, I definitely recommend it. Fua did an amazing job on those videos. So go check the channel for that. So this here is supposed to be a pip shot in Little Italy building. So this is our little Italian area, and this is our first building in Little Italy, and those are our two city buildings. So much different style, different area, good contrast. We could definitely see the difference in style there. I think Fua did a good job at hitting that Italian theme, but she also got a mini hero building, which was supposed to include a pip shot water. As mentioned, we might have more things in the future where some of the characters are a little bit more prominent in certain areas. They stand out a little bit more, but pip shot should still be a recognizable thing in the PlanCo verse. And that is achieved by using the colors, the signage, drink the wave, pip shot. This is the water sign, but Pip Shop also has a juice and a smoothie shop. So I think she did a little bit of a mixture of both. The only thing they're actually selling though is the water, and they have a water purification tank with some piping on the inside. Also very clever, really nice stuff there. And we got little hanging baskets. I like this pink and green aesthetic. Love the ivy growing around the back. And then we have this blue and orange, nice complementary colors on this side. Really cool, sticking with the color themes of the Pip Shop. I'm actually kind of curious if the purple was part of the actual color scheme for like smoothie. So this one's like this is the fruit smoothie, I believe. And here it is. This is the juice. So she went with the colors of the juice for the other half of the water, or the other half of the building. I even think you could probably squeeze in a sign there. That might be kind of nice, kind of offsetting the color panels there. I think that's actually a pretty good fit there. What do you think, guys? Should we leave that there? Whatever I do here, it won't get saved into the final version. It's fine. I'm just gonna quit Planet Coaster. All these changes will be nuked, other than the fact that they're placed now. I do think that's a pretty good spot for it if it was moved to the left a little bit. You guys saw that I was having some struggles with it crashing through the pathing of the ground. So what I did there is I colored it black, but then put a little bit of snow on there, and it gave me a gray. And I think it's kind of, if you blur your eyes, you could barely notice it. So that blended in really well. We got a little bit of grass sticking out here. It's fine. Maybe like extend some of that ivy onto the ground a little bit. So a little bit of like a cleanup task I could do. And maybe actually that might be something I'll do going into the next episode is, you know, certain things that I feel like changing when I do these assembly videos at 500% speed or whatever. Maybe I'll just go ahead and make some of these changes just for the sake of it. And then you guys can see like a little bit of a tuning and polish let's play that kind of, you know, takes what they did and just extends it a little bit, just so added some randomness there, cover up that greenery. Yeah, I think that's actually quite a nice addition. Don't mind that Pip Shop sign there either, but also obviously I don't want to impede on what people have done too much. Just want to make sure we don't have any floating signs. And what the heck did I just do there? And making sure everything fits properly. These signs are going to stay here for now. We'll probably delete them for the final presentation of the park. I don't know. It's something we can all give feedback on. But yes, another fantastic build from Fua. Really like the separation of the two buildings, taking up a very strange and awkward spot in the park, combining two builds together, then inverting their color schemes based off the two different shops is a perfect way to incorporate Pip Shop water, give it that PlanCo life, that PlanCo presence, while sticking to that Italian color, that Italian scheme, but incorporating the Pip Shop color scheme. This definitely feels and looks like a recognizable Planet Coaster Pip Shop creation when you first approach it, and that's the heart of Project PlanCo, bringing these characters, shops, and lore to life, but we're not plastering it with our new and improved Pip Shop mascot. We'll do that somewhere else. Same thing goes for what Abby did with her Gulpy. It's recognizable color schemes, a recognizable character, but not going too crazy with things just yet, keeping things subtle in the smaller buildings so it doesn't become too overwhelming with how much crazy Planet Coaster memorabilia we have everywhere. So great creations from Abby and Fua in today's video. Our first kind of Kickstarter, first 3 creations that we have in the entire project. One little secret that I'm going to let you guys in on is my floating head. So I don't lose it. It was so hard to find. I had to put like a big object there. The Stay Puffed is watching us, guys. Quite literally, because he's got a camera jammed in his head. But this camera is right here. So every time I place a building, I'm taking a screenshot. So what I'm going to do is make them one frames long or 2 frames long at the very end, and then just play them like an animation. So you're going to literally just see pop, 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 pop. You're going to see the whole 83 buildings pop up in like in a minute. I don't know. It was like, no, in seconds. In seconds, just we'll see how fast it needs to be, but I thought it was a good idea for me to do, and I hope you guys liked what I did with popping the buildings in. I thought that might be another nice feature. If I get a recording of me popping each building in, we could do like a really cool presentation at the end of speed building the entire city. Just pop, 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 pop. popcorn. It all comes to life. So I'm excited. I have these fun little video editing projects that I want to consider and think about. Each one of these buildings being placed in, adjusted, and just tweaked a little bit so that they fit and there's no issues. That's going to be a little bit of a job in itself, especially when we start sandwiching buildings together that are touching. We might have to optimize and change things a little bit as we go. So that's stuff that I'm probably going to, record, work through it, record it. We could talk about it, make an episode about it, but then also showcase, give our thoughts, and also just give credit to the creators, a shout out, a look at their build there. So really cool stuff there. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for the first ever episode of Project PlanCo. Let me know what you guys thought about the format, the length, the assembly. Do you think things can be trimmed down a little bit? Is there something in the video that you like to see or you want to see more of? I'm just feeling out the process, what's going to be best for each of these videos. Do you think showcasing 3 buildings was a fine amount? Do you want to see 5 per episode? That sort of thing. Definitely not going to do 1 per episode, but I think 3 was a good start, and maybe we can increase it in the future. But there was a lot more to talk about being the first episode ever, so I think this one ran a little bit longer, and the future ones should be hopefully like 5-10 minute videos. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Project PlanCo. Bye now.